Hey everybody, I'm Kendall.
And I'm Jono, and we're Bike Gearheads.
Today we're talking to you guys about a couple of really exciting shoes from 510.
Yes, we are. We got the Freerider Pro and the Trailcross LT.
So yeah, I had the opportunity to ride both of these shoes down in Fruita over the past week and do some Gearhead testing, and we're gonna give you guys our first impressions and talk through the tech specs of the shoes.
And just why we love 510.
Speaking of 510, it was founded in 1985, and their original focus was on climbing shoes. And so they did a lot of like rubber R&D to figure out that outsole technology that would give you the best traction on rocks.
Yeah.
But it turns out that it also gives you great traction on flat pedals. And so here we are, all these years later. They're the leading manufacturer of mountain bike flat shoes, and they also have sweet clipless options. But we're gonna focus on two flat pedal options today. Let's get into the Freerider Pro.
Let's do it. So this one, you're gonna see this thing at every trailhead, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
This thing is so popular for a lot of good reasons, and you rode on them, so
Yeah,
let's hear it.
definitely. I mean, this is basically like the flagship flat pedal shoe. Like, this is the industry standard.
Yeah.
This is what everything gets compared to, and it's for good reason. The rubber down here, the stealth rubber, is super sticky. They have this dot pattern, which gives really nice little places for your pins to sit, right, in between these dots.
Yeah, amazing, keeping your foot just locked in. It's pretty wild.
This is a performance downhill shoe. So this is a shoe that's going to be really stiff. It has a really protective toe cap in case you maybe run into some rocks, and it's stiff torsionally as well as you're pushing the bike through corners and technical sections of the trail. It's gonna give you the support that you need. Since they engineer the outsole and the midsole of this shoe to be stiffer for like better riding performance, that does mean it's like slightly awkward to walk in, like compared to a hiking shoe. I think obviously like this looks just like a skate shoe. I think it walks pretty similarly to a skate shoe. Really tricky hiking. It could be a little bit limiting. I didn't find the stiffness makes them uncomfortable. I still think they're comfortable to wear, especially like around town, like that kind of walking, very easy. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're really getting in the mix and some gnarly stuff, doing hike-a-bikes all the time, there might be some limiting factors with the walkability of this shoe.
Yeah. With that said, Cam Zink had to hike up some crazy stuff to do his runs at Rampage, so it's capable of scooting up the hills.
Yeah, you can definitely get up what you need to get up to.
Yeah.
This is actually the shoe that Cam Zink was riding when he won Rampage in October.
It sure is. Pretty impressive.
It shows you, yeah, I mean, the performance of limits of this shoe basically don't exist.
Yeah.
You can push it as hard as you want to on the bike, and the Freerider's gonna keep up.
And take some big impacts and not, really hurt your foot.
As far as on the trail feel goes, that is probably the biggest thing that I noticed. The shoe just does such a good job of like quieting down the trail. I would compare it to the coil shock versus air shock thing. This is your coil shock. This really just deadens everything out, absorbs the impact, and just, makes it a little bit easier for you to focus on riding those aggressive lines, drops, and jumps.
And if it's a muddy race, it's great to be able to just throw your leg out and catch yourself really quickly, and then get right back on the pedal.
It's a durable shoe that you can trust, and it's going to stand up over years of use in gnarly situations.
Just spray it down. I know you've probably run these in the past and have probably kept a pair for a lot of years just by spraying down and
super easy to
keep
clean
riding
off. Nothing really to worry about. They definitely prioritize durability, but they do still have some perforations here for a little bit of breathability. This is definitely like a shoe that would be comfortable to ride like all day at the bike park, even if it was super hot. But I think like if you were trail riding all day and it was super hot, you might start to notice a little bit of sweatiness, clamminess down there. But overall, still relatively breathable shoe.
So sizing for shoes is always a bit tricky. I know it's one of our most popular phone calls with customers is how does this shoe fit and what size should I get?
Definitely. I wear an 11.5 sneaker. For bike shoes, I will occasionally size down to an 11 because I like that performance fit. These kind of had that performance fit right out of the box in the 11.5. So yeah, I went with just like my normal street shoe size, and they were like my toes definitely weren't crunched up or anything, but I don't want my foot moving around in the shoe, and that's exactly how it felt. Like it was snug, wasn't too tight, really intuitive sizing across the board. I'd say just true to size. If you want a roomier fit, you could size up, but I think, go with your normal street shoe size and you'll get a good like performance fit.
How would you describe the toe box? Is it wide, pretty standard? Is it narrow?
I definitely have a narrow foot. I would describe the toe box as like medium volume.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so in your words, who is this shoe for?
I think this shoe fits a lot of riders. The bike park rider, right? The downhill enthusiast, that's definitely what the shoe is like engineered to do. That comes to mind first. I think the aggressive trail rider who likes flat pedals is definitely still gonna appreciate this. This is a shoe that totally can pedal up. It's not heavy feeling at all. And then you have like your, maybe like your more like dirt jump style rider, even BMX. With how well this shoe absorbs impact, it's great for the shorter travel bikes that you're hitting big features on. Like I said, it's a wide group of riders, but that's kind of who the shoe's for.
Yeah, and from beginner to expert.
Definitely.
There's a lot of beginners, they don't want to do the clipless thing, so I think this is a great flat option.
Yeah, and it gives you great grip on your flat pedals for the beginner rider too.
All right, so that moves us over to the Trailcross. It may look like a running shoe.
It does a little bit,
Yeah.
but this thing has a lot of features packed up its sleeve.
And what are those features?
This is basically created for the rider who demands a lot of walking and hiking performance out of their mountain bike shoe. I think the first thing that I noticed when I saw this shoe for the first time, like in person, is just all of the perforation, venting, breathability. I mean, it is literally the entire upper of the shoe is like either has perforations or is mesh. It's super ventilating. For anybody who just like lives in a really warm climate, that's like a huge advantage of this shoe right off the bat. Moving on, I think like traditional laces, I think make it easy to just like get the exact fit that you want. They still have this lace loop, so you can tuck your laces in there, keep it away from your bike is important. This pull tab is really nice. You don't see this on all bike shoes, but it just makes it easier to get on and off.
And jumping into the tread pattern, I believe the lugs are a little bit deeper than the traditional Freerider you're used to.
Yeah, so it may look similar to the sole from the Freerider Pro that we just looked at, but these soles actually do have some features to give you a little bit more walking performance. So you can see these lugs have some like taller edges here, and so that's going to give you a little bit more toe purchase when you're like getting up the steep stuff. And then these regular dot lugs that you see are quite a bit deeper than the Freerider, and then you get additional traction down in the heel. Still uses 510's famous stealth rubber, so it's still going to give you awesome traction on the pedals.
All right, so these are definitely made a little bit more for walking on the trail. So it's got the split sole around the drainage ports there. Allows for good mobility while hiking.
I think it actually makes a huge difference. I think that's one of the things that can really hinder a mountain bike shoe's like hiking performance. Because if you think about it, when you're on that steep stuff, right, you're just on your toes.
Yeah.
And so the fact that the shoe moves with you quite a lot more, it just like allows you to utilize your tippy toes and really get into those harder to reach holds when you're hiking up something steep.
Also great for if you're doing trail work all day. You don't want to be in a shoe this stiff. You're just going to be miserable. So this is really nice for that.
Another thing in this area of the shoe is the drainage ports. So if you're adventure biking and you like are running into repeated like stream crossings, or if you're trail building and it's like you're building after it rains, as one does, then it just helps deal with water.
Shoe like this, it's not going to drain very well.
Yeah, and it's probably going to take a while to dry out.
You're going to have wet socks, wet feet, it's going to be not great. Yeah, so if you are bike packing, I think this would be a great shoe because overnight you can pull out the sole, let it just air out, and then in the morning you're going to have a dry shoe.
Hang them up in your tent.
Yeah.
They'll be good to go.
Yeah. So how do these fit?
These are a little bit more generous in sizing compared to the Freerider Pro. I also rode the 11.5 here, and there was like a little bit of wiggle room. I think you definitely noticed the toe box is a little bit wider, but I think that's really going to fit how you want it to, right? More like a hiking shoe.
Yeah.
A little bit more comfortable to be in all day. Like your toes aren't like kind of smushed all together. Like you have a little bit more breathing room. And so I'd describe the fit as generous. I think if you wanted a little bit more of a performance fit, you could size down a half size.
Okay. Good to know. All right, so who is this shoe for?
I think this shoe also has like a super wide-ranging like user base. The trail builder comes to mind, definitely for me. What about for you?
For me, adventure riding and bike packing, I think it'd be a great shoe for that. Also, just like if you're new to mountain biking, I think it'd be a good shoe as well. It may be more comfortable to transition to something like this versus going full stuff and be like, that's not what I'm used to in a shoe. So I think it'd be good for that because you still have the amazing grip that you want with a flat pedal.
Yeah.
But then you do have like the walkability.
Yeah, if you've tried a shoe like this and it just feels like too burly and stiff, especially if you're like light on the bike, I think this would be an interesting shoe. And also if you want like a shoe that can be used for various forms of biking, like maybe even like an e-bike commuter. This is something that like it walks really well, it's comfortable to wear all the time. And then it also like, it gives you some flat pedal for performance as well.
Yeah, I think this would be a great commuting shoe. All right, so those are two of our favorite flat shoe options from 510, but we do have plenty more on our website. So if you have any questions about those, be sure to reach out to our Gearhead. They can help you out with sizing, which shoe might be best for you. And
and if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you out on the trails.
See ya.